Jeri from Sunrise Abram, and I'm going to share with you my very first book haul. That's right, it's my first book haul here, and I really wanted to share with you guys all the books that I've got during the lockdown, so I'm calling this the Lockdown Book Haul. That's right, Lockdown Book Haul. Let's get started. Okay, so one of the first books that I got during the lockdown is Don't Tell a Soul by Kristen Miller. So look at this cover, it's really gorgeous. Oh my gosh, what fell? My boyfriend's bookmark fell. Okay, so going back, I don't know much about this book, but I do know that it's about ghosts and girls, and I love both of them. So my boyfriend has been saying really good things about it, so I feel like I'm gonna be reading this real soon, right after he finishes it. He's already halfway through, so I'm really excited to read this one, and that's my first book for this book haul. Let's move on to the next. Here I have 3 Agatha Christie books. So these are my first Agatha Christie books, and it's really surprising because I love thriller, I love psychological thriller and mystery, but it's the first time that I read Agatha Christie and the first time that I bought Agatha Christie books, and I began with this, The Mysterious Mr. Quinn, and it's really, really nice. It easily became one of my favorites, and I tabbed it a lot, and one of my favorite chapters here is The Man on the Sea, or The Man from the Sea, and it's really interesting because it's the first time that I've read a thriller book or a mystery book wherein per chapter is a different story, but we have only one character. We have only one main character, so it's really interesting, and it became one of my favorites. So I'm really looking forward to these 2 books as well by Agatha Christie, which is The Mysterious Affairs at Styles and The Death on the Nile. I'm really excited to read these. I've heard a lot of good things about Death on the Nile, and it became a movie, so it's really interesting, and I really want to read this as soon as I can. And okay, so next on my list would be so I have 6 books here which I've already read but are still part of my lockdown book haul. These are really nice reads. Well, some of them didn't really sit well with me, but some, like Loki and The Picture of Dorian Gray, instantly became one of my favorites, and these are really exciting reads. So we begin with Circe. So Circe is actually about the Greek goddess who discovers the power of witchcraft. And then The Picture of Dorian Gray, I won't go into this much because I feel like it'll defeat the purpose or the experience of reading it, because it's a really great classic, so grab that now. And Ignorance, of course, is one by Milan Kundera. So it's about 2 characters who meet again and then find that their memories no longer match, which is really interesting, and it's a great experience to watch or to read how all of their experiences kind of like meld together into one story. And next we have Loki. So Loki, of course, is based on the Marvel character and the Norse mythology god of mischief, which is Loki himself. And he's one of my favorite Norse mythology characters and one of my favorite Marvel characters, definitely. And it revolves around how he became a villain, which is really one of the saddest books and funniest books that I've read, which is why it's one of my favorites now. And then we also have The Blood Heir. So The Blood Heir is about a princess with a really deadly gift, and she teams up with a con man, and together they find, or they search for the murder of her father. And then this one really didn't sit well with me, but I admit there were a lot of great parts, but there were also tropes that I didn't quite like. So I kind of like skimmed this book during the last few parts. And then last but not the least, we have How to Suffer in 10 Easy Steps. Amazing, right? So it's a self-help book. I don't know if you can call it that really, but it's a self-help book that kind of discusses suffering in a sarcastic way. So I really liked how they kind of tell you what to do without telling you what to do. So if you're the type of person who really hates it when people tell you what you should do in order to feel better, this is the book for you. So it's really nice. It's entertaining, although there were some parts that I kind of drifted away, but it's a really entertaining book. Grab that now too. Next up, we've got a lot of Bukowski books, because Bukowski is by far the greatest poet who ever lived. Well, for me, there. So this haul technically is like my feel better haul. So these books really get me out of reading slumps. They get me out of unproductive days or demotivated days, and this haul really makes me feel really productive again. And well, there are only 2 books that I haven't read yet, and these 3 I've read already, and my favorite is Pleasures of the Damned. I love that book so much, which is why I tabbed a lot of it. As you can see, there's a lot of tabs here, and I've yet to read 2 of these books, which is Bukowski on Love and Storm for the Living and the Dead. So I'm going to read this soon, because I love Bukowski, and I love that he talks about the truth of the world, and he's really fearless in terms of really saying what he wants to say. Like, he doesn't romanticize anything. He doesn't fake anything just so he can make things beautiful. I mean, things are beautiful just the way they are, so he doesn't need to filter any of his madness, any of his addiction when it comes to drinking, his addiction when it comes to horse riding or races. And I really love that these books really kind of speak the way I expected him to speak, I guess. So these books are really valuable to me, and I really like that I started reading his books during the lockdown, because it got me through a lot, and it really helped me find motivation in days that I just didn't want to work, or I didn't want to read. So these books are really special to me, and I really love them. And I'm ready for the 2 of them, the last 2 that I haven't read yet. And I'm definitely gonna buy more Bukowski books. Have I talked about my Queen shirt yet? I haven't I? Queen shirt, hello! Ta-da! So I have migrated to my personal space, as you can see. But anyway, for the next book that I have, it's Truly Devious by Maureen Johnson. Now, this one I'm really curious about, because it's set in a private school, and our main character sort of like wants to solve this case from many years ago, wherein there was a kidnapping, and the kidnapper signed kind of like a riddle with a pseudonym, Truly Devious. So years later, he comes back, or he or she comes back, and our main character will be tied into that story. So I really want to see how that is gonna play out. And yeah, Truly Devious. So for my next book, it's The Light Between Worlds by Laura E. Weymouth. So this book is basically about 2 sisters who were born, or who were living during the war era, and they're whisked away in this place called Woodlands, and they spend a few years there, and then after that, when they finally return to London, they realize that nothing has changed, or time hasn't passed, except themselves. So they've changed, and both of them kind of cope with that in different ways. And I know there are trigger warnings here, though I'm not sure which kind of trigger warnings there are. But I think this is a really enlightening book, and I'm really excited for this as well. So I'm gonna be leaving a description of this down below, so that everyone can see as well what this is all about. Next, we have 2 books by Neil Gaiman. One is Trigger Warning, and one is Fragile Things. So these 2 books are actually compilations of different essays, different short stories, and short fictions by Neil Gaiman. And I'm really excited to read these books. I keep saying excited and interesting, but I'm really excited about these books, because I've read like a few snippets of Trigger Warning online, and it got me really interested. really interested in it because I've read a few Neil Gaiman books, and they're really diverse in terms of world building as well as the narration. So I felt like reading these books by Neil Gaiman would be a definite great experience for me, since I really like how he writes books. And these two books are basically compilations of his works, and I'm excited to see how his imagination takes us into different places too. This next book, I'd like to give a disclaimer because this definitely has a trigger warning for suicide, and I'm not sure about the other trigger warnings because I haven't read it yet, but definitely there's a trigger warning for suicide here. So this book is Veronica Decides to Die by Paulo Coelho. So Paulo Coelho is a really well-known author, and I actually haven't read any of his books, so this will be the first. And it's about a girl named Veronica who seemingly has it all, but finds that there's a missing piece in her life, and she decides to die one day. So it revolves around that and all of her learnings, I guess, and all of her enlightenments. So it says here that based on events on Coelho's own life, Veronica Decides to Die questions the meaning of madness and celebrates individuals who do not fit into patterns society considered to be normal. So I'm really considered to be normal. So I'm really curious about this as well because I feel like I haven't read a book like this before, since I mostly read books that are very exciting and very so this one would be the very first book that I'll be reading with this kind of reach. So I'm curious about this. I want to read it as soon as I can, and I hope you guys read it as well. Next up, The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo. This book is very yellow, but anyway, I actually don't know much about this. I only know that there's a movie about it, so I wanted to read it, and I wanted to see what all the fuss was about because it's a really well-known book and it's really thick too. So I wanted to know what all the fuss was about, so I grabbed it, and I hope you grab yours too. Next up in my haul is Kingdom of the Wicked by Carrie Maniscalco. So this book is about twin sisters who are witches, and then one of them suddenly goes missing and then found desecrated beyond belief. And then of course the other twin would be extremely devastated and would be seeking revenge. So she meets Wrath, which is one of the princes of hell, and I think together they'll be solving who the murderer is. So definitely there may be trigger warnings in here too, but this one is a YA book, and there will be a sequel called The Kingdom of the Cursed, but I haven't read this one, but I'm really looking forward to it. So I hope you guys grab this because this is absolutely gorgeous. I've been loving this cover for so long. Like, I've been staring at it for so long, but I haven't gotten the time to read this book yet because I'm really neck deep in all the books I haven't read yet. But this one is definitely one of my most anticipated reads for this month. I have here Horrid by Katerina Lino. So Horrid is actually one of those books that I had to go to the bookstore for in order to really just buy this book. So I went there, and just a quick storytelling. I went there and I wasn't really planning on buying anything, but then I asked if they had a copy of this book, and then they said they had the last copy in their branch. So I got really excited, and then we actually had to look for it because I think it was misplaced somewhere. So we had to look for it, and once I found it, I just grabbed it and went over to the cashier and paid for it. I mean, this is one of the books that I'm really looking forward to, and it's also about, similar to my first book for this haul, Don't Tell a Soul, it's also about a girl and ghosts. So this is one of my most anticipated reads as well. I'm excited for this. I want to read it as soon as I can. So another early book that I got during the lockdown is The Cousins by Karen M. McManus. So This one is the story about cousins who are suddenly invited into their kind of like family private island or private summer house, something like that. And they discover a lot of things about their family, and it's dark, it's twisted. I'm told that there are plot twists in this book, so I'm excited for this. And I'm really a fan of fiction and thriller, so I feel like it was melded well in this book because there are a lot of good reviews about it. So this one is definitely up on my list. I'm going to be reading this soon as well. And then I hope that you guys have a lot of comments about this, because I don't really know where this would be going or what this would be about, or what the story would be revolving. So I hope you guys can give me a bit of eye opener about this if you guys know this book a bit. So I wanted to know more about it before I read it, and I also want to not know about it before I read it, if that makes sense. But anyway, that's The Cousins by Karen M. McManus. I hope you guys know this book already, because I've been hearing a lot of good things about it, and I'm gonna be reading this real soon. One more thriller book that I got among all my other thrillers is Layla by Colleen Hoover. So I think this is her second thriller book, because I read Verity, which is her first, and it was really nice. Like, I loved Verity so much. Like, it's one of my favorite books, and I felt like to read this would also give justice to me reading or loving Verity as well. So this one is about Leeds and Layla. So Layla is the love of Leeds' life, and he's destined, or he feels like he's destined to spend the rest of his life with her. However, Layla falls into an accident, or was under attack, and it leaves her mentally scarred. However, she recovered physically, and Leeds takes her away into this kind of vacation. But Layla's behavior turns into a more bizarre kind of thing. So this one I wanna read ASAP as well, because I really love thriller books, and I loved Verity, as I mentioned, and I feel like this will give me chills at night because of all the questions and all the theories that I'm going to be having. So this one definitely is one that I'd recommend, even if I haven't even read it, because judging from Verity, I'm going to like this one as well. In the next few books, I think I'm going to be showing you a lot of blue books, because weirdly enough, I have this thing for navy blue or blue in general. And now I'm showing you A Curse So Dark and Lovely by Bridget Kemmer. So this one is kind of like a retelling of Beauty and the Beast, if I got it that correctly. So yeah, so this one is kind of like a retelling of Beauty and the Beast, but this time it has a creative and suspenseful take, according to Sarah Holland, best-selling author of Everlist. So I'm excited for this as well. So I said excited again, but I really was looking forward to this book when it was released, because it's been on my to be read list for so long, and I finally got it, and I want to read it. And look at this spine. Look at this. This is insane. It's gorgeous. Anyway, so this is kind of like a retelling of Beauty and the Beast, but with more suspense on it. So that's all that I'm gonna say about it, because I don't wanna spoil anything for anyone. I haven't read it yet, but I felt like the synopsis kind of spoiled it for me. So it's best if you go into this book without really reading synopsis or any of the reviews, so that once you go into it, you're just blinded, and then bam, good book. Well, I'm judging it by the cover as well. So, bam, good book. The next blue book that I'm about to show you is The Kingdom of Bach by Marie Lu. Oh my god, I love Marie Lu so much. Like, I love the Legend trilogy. I love the Young Elite trilogy. I've yet to read Warcross and Star Hunter, but I love Marie Lu so much, and I'm really interested in The Kingdom of Bach because it's about Wolfgang Mozart's sister. Interesting, right? It's about his sister, and how she wants to play music as well, but it's always overshadowed by her younger brother, and then suddenly she's whisked away into the Kingdom of Bach, and then a whole lot of stuff happens after that. So I'm really excited for this. I really want to read it as soon as possible as well, because this is by Marie Lu. I know that I'm gonna love it if it's by Marie Lu, because judging from all the books that I've read, which is 6, not that much, but judging by all the books that I've read, I love her writing. I love how she builds her characters. I love her characters in general. So this one is really up on my list as well. I'm gonna read this soon. I keep saying that I'm gonna read everything soon, but in truth, there's a lot of things piling up right now. My to-read list is just a whole explosion of books, so wish me luck. The next book I have for the lockdown book haul is Bam! The Guinevere Deception by Kirsten White. Actually don't know anything about this book. I'm only really excited about it because of the cover and the blurb at the back, and the fact that it's a retelling about King Arthur and Lancelot and Guinevere. Actually don't know much about that story as well, but basically this book is a real mystery to me because I'm going in there without knowing much about anything. So it's gonna be a real ride for me because I don't usually do that. So I'm excited for this. And for the last book I have for you in the lockdown book haul, Malice by Heather Walters. So look at this. It's beautiful, isn't it? So this is about a retelling of The Sleeping Beauty, but this time the villain is actually a really nice person, or a really nice kind of a witch. So I'm not sure actually if she's nice, but judging from the synopsis, she's really kind-hearted, I feel. And she gets to like this person, or she gets to like Princess Aurora, which is Sleeping Beauty. She gets to like Aurora, and it's like this never-ending tug of war, I guess, between them. And judging by the synopsis as well, Alice, our main character, will be the one who will be cursing Princess Aurora, and we'll all see what happens next after that. So this is about kind of like a villain plus princess story and a retelling of Sleeping Beauty. So it's really nice. The cover is nice, the typography is nice, the layout is nice, the synopsis is nice, even the pages are nice. So I feel like this will be a nice book. I'm really looking forward to it because this is the last book actually that I bought for this lockdown haul. Well, I've ordered like a lot of new books, but that's for August. But this one is the last book that I bought for the lockdown haul, and I'm really excited about it as well. And there you have it, my lockdown book haul. I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope you guys took down notes of the book recommendations, or I hope you guys have read some of it and could give me a few insights that you felt, or what you realized, or what you learned from those books without any spoilers, of course. I hope you guys enjoyed this video because I'll definitely be posting a lot more because I find that this is really an enjoyable thing to do. So I don't have much people to talk to when it comes to books, so I'm really glad that I started up this channel and I could talk about books freely. So let me know if you guys have any if you guys have any questions, if you want to add up to my never-ending list of to-be-read books, or if you can relate to some of these reactions. Just let me know, and I'll be really glad if you guys would welcome me into the book community, because I really love the book community. I've been watching BookTube for years and years, and I'm so happy to be here. And watch out for my next video. I'm not sure yet what that'll be, but definitely there will be more. Thank you once again. This is Jeri, aka Sunrise Abram. I hope you have a great day.